Happy Friday, everybody. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com here for today's Road to Millions, and we have got an amazing show for you. Before we get started, please hit that like button that lets WagerTalk know that we're doing a good job for you. Only takes a couple seconds, and we are not going to waste any time because we have a ton to get to. On today's show, we're going to go over 6 best NFL props. We got a sleeper NFL play. We have NFL stat of the day that's probably going to blow your mind. An MLB fade of the day. Don't forget, we can still make money in baseball. Steve, it is his turn for the Millie Maker free play, and then we will go over our official Survivor picks. If you have advanced in our Survivor pool, leave a comment with your pick. I've got most of them, but so a lot of people have not given us their pick. So make sure you get your pick. I ordered the prize last night. I'm very, very excited.
Nice.
Just make sure it doesn't go to me or Steve. That would be a real letdown. So make sure somebody else wins it. That would be very anticlimactic here. So, but we're gonna get to our official Survivor picks. But first, let's go to our 6 best NFL props. I picked 3 of them. Steve picked 3 of them. Steve, why don't you go first? You're fading the vaunted Atlanta Falcons pass offense with Drake London. Let's talk under 50.5 receiving.
Like you said, the Falcons are the most run-heavy offense in the NFL, and Drake London last week he had one target. He didn't have one catch, 1 yard, one target. So he's like barely there. This week now, brutal matchup. He's going to get shadow covered by Jair Alexander. It's a nightmare matchup for him in this one. The number seems way too high. I just don't see how he gets there in this game when they're going to be. The Falcons are going to be playing it close to the vest and conservative here, trying to keep the game close. The total is very low in this game. I think it was like 40 or something like that. Give me his under in this one.
You're always in a good spot when you're fading the Falcons passing. The Desmond Ritter under 198.5 was an easy cash. So, yeah, one target. Yikes. All right, I'm going to go with Justin Fields over 174.5 passing. Listen, I know the Bears are not exactly the greatest show on turf, but, I mean, come on. This is way too low. The Bears running backs were terrible last week. Take out Justin Fields. Everyone else rushed 20 times for 63 yards in their game. They were not good. And Fields threw for 216 yards. The Buccaneers, the strength of their defense is that defensive line. I think it's going to be Fields rushing and Fields passing. And the Buccaneers, they held the Vikings to 41 yards rushing. They gave up 344 yards passing. Now, I mean, based on what we've seen the first 2 weeks from the Vikings, that just seems like what we're going to get the first 2 weeks. But I get Justin Fields just barely under 175 when their running backs really struggled and they're going up against a team that gave up 344 passing last week. Give me Justin Fields over. I'm sure nobody's excited to take overs in the Bears passing, but this number just comes across way too low for me. So Christian McCaffrey, Steve, you're always in a good spot when you're betting on Christian McCaffrey to do good things. Why do we like rushing plus receiving this week?
McCaffrey he's cleared this rushing plus receiving total in his last 8 games on the road. He's averaged over 140 combined yards in those 8 games. And he cleared this total in both of his games last season against the Rams. And one of those, he was with the Panthers. The other one, he's with the 49ers. So it didn't matter what uniform he was wearing. He's clearing this number when he plays the Rams. The totals he had in those games were 149 and 158. So he crushed this number in both of those games. I'm expecting a Niners blowout in this one. Late in the game, McCaffrey going to be getting extra carries to ice the game, and I just went with the combo. I like the rushing mainly. You could go over in rushing here, but I like the combo with the receiving just in case he catches. He gets a reception and breaks it and gets a bunch of yards that way. So love this play this week, though. Give me his over 97.5.
I'm going to take a look at David Montgomery over 56.5 rushing. I think we're going to get a window of a few weeks where you can take David Montgomery overs, and then once Jahmyr Gibbs gets acclimated to the NFL and to the team, I think we're going to look at Montgomery under. So I want to play on David Montgomery here. He had 72 yards rushing against a defense that I think is good. And we had a great comment Keep those comments coming, by the way, guys. Like there was a fantastic comment about someone was like, "Oh, I disagree with your take on this defense. This defense." And then we were talking about top three defense, Steve. We totally spaced Dallas that he pointed out.
I
So
saw that.
yeah, it was a great discussion. Those are comments that are just like love it because now we can kind of track the defenses, and what our opinions are. So I think the Chiefs defense is really good, and I know that the Seahawks defense is not very good. They gave up. The Rams rushed the ball 40 times against them. 40 times with Kyron Williams and Cam Akers. This is not a good rushing offense. So I think David Montgomery is going to get a lot of carries. Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to come out of the backfield and catch some passes. But if we get a game script where the Lions are up, Montgomery is going to be the guy that milks out the clock. So I think that Seattle team's in big trouble. Their offensive line was bad and their defense was bad. So it seems pretty low when Montgomery's coming off a 72-yard performance against the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'll take David Montgomery over his rushing total. Steve, you nailed Gabe Davis on the under on Monday Night Football. It's a pretty nice rebound spot for him to go over.
100%. Like you said, we cashed his under. It was 46.5 at that point, but I saw some things in that game that I liked. He only caught 2 of his 4 targets for 32 yards, but he had three of those 4 targets were for 15 plus. If he catches them, were for 15 plus yards. He's a home run hitter, and I saw some things I liked here. Allen, I think he gets some extra looks from Allen. Allen had a lot of turnovers in that game, and I'm not expecting that to happen here. I'm also expecting him to look his way a little bit more based on his lack of production in the last game. Davis was obviously frustrated in that game. We got the Raiders flying cross country. We know that trip's a horrible, the cross country trip always favors the team playing at home. And the Raiders defense, they're going to struggle with the guys on the outside. They're better against the slot receivers compared to the guys on the outside. Like I said, he's a home run hitter. It's only going to take a couple of catches to clear this total. Give me his over this week.
You can get that with one catch. We've seen him do it many times last year on the boomer bust. So, my last play, it's a little bit of a gut feeling. This is not my most confident play, but Stafford under 4.5 rushing against the 49ers. I really doubt he's going to take off against that defense. He went over this total because he had a 9-yard run against Seattle last week, but find it hard to believe he's going to do this. He did not go over this total in either of the games last year against San Fran. So not exactly the most mobile quarterback. He might take off maybe once, but let's just say the speed of the San Francisco linebackers are a little bit faster than Matthew Stafford in the open field. So it's kind of more of just a stab at Matthew Stafford not running the ball at all. So I'll give me Stafford under his rushing here. So. All right, guys, that is 6 props for everybody. And I want to tell everyone what plays we have up today. We still have our 5% NFL best bet that is up 22-9. We hit our 5% last week. Really happy with that. Speaking of hitting 5% plays, our UFC play is still up. We hit that one last week. That would be sick if we could hit back-to-back weekends of 5% play in UFC and NFL. And we're back to baseball. We passed yesterday. We have 2 plays up on a 70% run. Don't forget about that baseball profits, man. They just pad the bankroll, and everyone kind of forgets about MLB, but the profit is there. So we're top 3, 2023, and the last 365 days. So we're having a really, really good run. So grab all those up at WagerTalk. If you would like 1 year, we're still running the special for 1 more day. Use the promo code FLASH999. 1 year, all sports, for $999. So we're up 96 units over the last 365. We're up 109 in 2023. So it's been a very, very profitable run for us, and hope everyone jumps in. We tell people, if you have the domestic books, you really need to sign up with us. We specialize in taking these props on the domestics like DraftKings and FanDuel and BetMGM and BetRivers, and along with all the other spreads and props that we do. So promo code FLASH999 gets 1 year. It's half price, guys. Only one more day. All right, let's do sleeper of the day. This is my guy. I loved him last year. I loved him in the offseason. I thought he was being overlooked. And I get Tyler Algier at plus 165 for an anytime touchdown. This is a guy that scored 2 touchdowns last week. This guy rushed for over 1,000 yards last season, and we talked about him last season. The Falcons love him. At the end of the year, he was just short of 1,000 yards. And they weren't really playing for much, and they made an effort to get him 1,000 yards. He got over 1,000 yards. There was a big celebration, and this is a team that utilizes two running backs. They utilize Bijan Robinson and they utilize Tyler Algier. I own him in my fantasy leagues. And the big thing for me, Steve, 4 carries inside the 5 yard line last week. Bijan Robinson
Love it.
got one. This is the goal line back. This is like, doesn't this remind you of Jamal Williams with the Lions
One
last
hundred
year?
percent. Yeah. When you told me about this play, I told you I love this play too. This is one I had circled as well.
And this could be one where you just sprinkle it every week. Just if we're getting plus 165 on a team that runs the ball, and like I mean, Steve did a good job breaking down how Drake London isn't got one target. They're just not throwing the ball a lot. They're running it. So I think the sleeper play could be Tyler Algier. All eyes are on Bijan Robinson, but man, Tyler Algier is very, very valuable. So that is going to be the sleeper of the day. Here's the stat of the day. Steve, he did it again. Did not throw an interception last week. Jared Goff has now gone 347 pass attempts without throwing an interception. 10 games in a row with no interceptions.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And Seattle. I don't know if he's going to throw one this week either. Seattle. That's not a good pass
That's a
defense.
terrible. They could be up. What if they're running the ball? Here's the thing. Are we to the point now where this is just not sustainable? Like is
Yeah.
this where we zig when everyone's zagging? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's obviously it's got to happen at some point, and anything can happen. But I would take my chances that in this game, in this particular isolated contest, I would take my chances that he doesn't throw one this week coming up. Maybe the following week. We'll have to check with the Lions play the next week after Seattle.
If he can go 2 games in a row without doing it, he's going to get over 400 pass attempts without. But it's to the point where it's almost unsustainable, and it's going to have like how have you not have a tipped ball at the line that just like pops up in the air? Nothing.
Yeah, right. Seriously, like so many different situations, and I mean, Goff, man, when you think of him too, he doesn't really, you don't think of 10-game runs without interceptions when you think about Jared Goff generally.
No Hail Mary intercept. Those BS interceptions at the end of the half or the game. That is an impressive run. So I'm kind of pulling for him now. I love these streaks. So yeah, there's your stat of the day. All right, we're going to a fade of the day. Steve, we're going to talk some baseball here. And poor Lucas Giolito. I told you I was looking for a picture of him like in his Cleveland jersey, which it was really hard to find because he only pitched a couple games. And I was like, God, he's played on a bunch of teams. And there's just him in this jersey and this jersey. And I realized they're all from this year.
Yeah, 3 teams so far. 3 teams now this year.
All right, so why are we fading him? What do we look like in the Rangers? I love this play.
So the Rangers have heated up again. They've won 6 in a row. They've scored 3+ first 5 runs in 4 of their last 5 games. And the key hitters on this team have been great against Giolito, Seager, Lowe, and Simeon have solid track records against him. He hasn't been sharp since joining the Guardians. 4 and 9 runs in the first 5 innings since joining the team. And like I said, with these key hitters hitting well, and the Rangers their bats are on fire. They're scoring a bunch of runs per game. Hot streak going for them right now. So we get plus money on a 2.5 first 5 team total. Love this play.
Nice. So we're looking to fade Lucas Giolito, not Ben Sharp. So take a look at that Rangers first 5 team plus money too. Man, what a great price on that one.
100%.
All right, guys, don't forget to hit the like button, leave us a comment, and get your survivor pick in if you advanced and you're making your pick for next week. Please put it in. Don't forget, we've got just over half of the people that advanced have put in a play. So put that play in. Steve, you're up for the Millie Maker play of the week. You've been dead on about Steele for the Cubs. That future was amazing. We did it as a sleeper of the day. I think you gave it out like 9-1 or 7-1. Now you want to try and make some money off of him just on the money line. So let's talk this one out. Cubs money line versus the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, so I love Justin Steele, and he's been just better and better as time. He's been lights out. That he had that streak where the Cubs were winning every game that he started. He lost that one last game. Not It wasn't his fault. He In his last 3 games, he has a .43 ERA. He's unhittable. He's basically unhittable. That last game against the Diamondbacks at home as well, they lost that game in the end, but it was the bullpen that gave it away. It wasn't Justin Steele. And we considered playing him in that game, but it was Merrill Kelly that opposed him. Not today. Brandon Pfaadt. And he brings the six ERA, ERA over 6 to the mound. And at home, he's been horrendous. His ERA is above 7 at home. His WHIP is like 1.7 something at home. He's just been horrendous. And the D-backs have struggled against lefties. They're since August 1st, they're 22nd in WOBA against left-handed pitching. Cubs rank 11th against righties during that time span. So we have every advantage here, a slight advantage even in the bullpen if it gets to that point. I'm gonna keep riding Steele here and take the Cubs money line. And just a heads up, yesterday's sleeper play, J.D. Davis, is still in play today. He got rained out yesterday. He's got the same matchup today against Chase Anderson. If you want to look at the whole breakdown, we did it in yesterday's video, but that play is also still in play today because it got rained out.
Nice, nice. Yeah, what a great matchup for pitching here. So hopefully they get on fat early and often and just build that lead and let Steele ride into the sunset on this one. So great pick for the Millie Maker free play of the week. And it has come down to the Survivor pick. Steve and I both advanced last week, so we're going to go over our official Survivor picks. We do not have a really big consensus based on all the picks, so I think we're going to lose some people, and I don't see a big wave of people being eliminated from our pool. We're kind of all over the place. So, Steve, you're going with the 49ers. I'm going with the Saints. What do you like about the 49ers?
So last week I had it narrowed down to the Ravens and the Seahawks, and I almost went with the Seahawks just to save the Ravens, which would have been a fatal error. I, my gut was telling me the Ravens, just like my gut's telling me this week to go with the 49ers. I know using them up this early in the Survivor isn't maybe the best strategy for the long term, but I'm just going to keep trying to survive to the next week. Great defense in this game. The Rams win against the Seahawks, in my opinion, was a complete mirage. And the 49ers are going to dominate them in this game. They have the better offense, better defense there, and I just don't see a way that they lose this game in this situation. So I'm just going to keep pressing along with the play that I'm most confident in every week.
Nice. I'm going with the Saints against the Panthers. I think the Panthers stink, and now they lost their best cornerback. This team can't score, man. Their offensive line is bad, and the Saints' defense. We thought they were going to be good coming into the year, and then they looked really good last week against the Titans. I don't know if Tannehill's that washed or if just the Saints defense did a really good job, but thought the Saints just did a thought the Saints were just tough and they're going to eat the Panthers alive. I feel bad for Bryce Young going into this matchup. So I think this is and I may not have played them, but with the Panthers missing their best cornerback now to injury, like Olave and Thomas, that's just going to be too much for them to try and defend in that passing game. So I think it's a good spot to use the Saints. I don't think the Saints are a super popular pick this week. I would say the Giants probably. People are using the fade the Cardinals strategy. I get it. I get it, especially if you can get a win out of the Giants. That'd be real valuable in the Survivor. So Steve's going with the 49ers. I am going with the Saints. If you advanced, please leave your pick in the comment section below. And that is going to do it for us, guys, on the Friday edition of Road to Millions. We will be back Sunday morning to break down. We're going to go over Corbin's alt lines parlays, which he did a great job of. We're going to give you some same game parlays. We're going to do the anytime touchdown score, and we're going to update our first quarter under strategy. We have not pulled the trigger on any of those plays yet, but we want to talk out some of the teams that we're looking at. So thanks for everybody. Leave a comment below. Tell us what you like for this weekend. Don't forget to hit the like button. All plays can be found at WagerTalk.com. We got 2 5% plays that are up for this weekend, one in UFC, one in NFL. Good luck on all your bets tonight. We will see everyone Sunday on the Road to Millions.
Good luck.